of awards an indefinite ban on their future participation in any VGMA event. That's the price Shatta-Wale and Stonebwoy would have to pay for disrupting this year's awards with their widely condemned clash last Saturday. The rivalry between the two dancehall artists for many followers has gone overboard and caused a lot of disgrace to the most celebrated national music awards on the country's calendar. This morning, we ask how far-reaching can the impact of these sanctions handed them affect events in the music industry? Should anyone be bothered, or it's just the cup of tea of these two gentlemen? Nia Yite Hammond is a board member of the VGMA and has been with the award scheme for the last 20 years. He will be giving us some perspectives on that, and also joining us via Skype from the US of A is Moonlight Music. Let's come together and do the limbo. Dancing high like calypso dance. Sunshine music. Let's come together and do the limbo. Dancing high like calypso dance. So that's musician turned pastor Nana G-Man. And I know many of you were wondering, was that Michael Jackson? No, that was Ghana's own version of Michael Jackson. But if you recall, G-Man was incarcerated in Ghana for 14 years after shooting a taxi driver dead. This was at the peak of his music career. For him, he kept the gun for personal security. Unfortunately, it landed him in prison at a time he least expected. And that was the end, probably, of his music career. He's got some experience to share on today's agenda and has also been admonishing Shatta-Wale and Stonebwoy against keeping firearms on themselves, particularly in public. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. I've got Nia Yite Hunter in studio, and I've got G-Man joining us from the US via Skype. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
G-Man, I'm sure this incident brings back a lot of regrettable personal memories.
Definitely. Yes.
So when you heard it, tell us how you felt. What went through your mind?
Well, I was very sad when I saw the video because I heard it and then I went on the internet and watched the video. And then yesterday I read that an apology from Stonebwoy, and the very things that I spoke about in my video that I did, the two of them, was the exact thing that he said, that he only pulled out that gun to frighten Shatta-Wale. But that was the same thing I thought 24 years ago when I pulled out a gun. I thought I was just going out to frighten the taxi driver. Unfortunately, the gun went off and he died. So he was so very lucky that the gun did not go off. And that's why I'm saying that they should stay away from guns, because they are weapons of destruction and they do not protect. There's only God who protects.
Interesting. I'll come back to get more from you, but let me speak to Nini. You are with the VGMAs. We've heard the sanctions. We carried it live here on our channel, but something is trending, which is return our money. I'll come back to ask you that, but these sanctions that you have imposed or handed these two artists, what are you expecting as a result of these decisions you've made?
Basically, what we're looking at is, sorry, thank you for having me here. Basically, what we're looking at is not so much to punish. You know, they say when somebody wrongs, you correct, and you set an example so that others might not follow suit. And that is all it is, that others might not see it as something that is worthy to follow suit.
And so why couldn't you just have, like many have asked, just place that indefinite ban? Why did you need to take the awards as well?
Yeah, it goes further to, you know, the awards also mean a lot to artists, basically. So if you look at what their actions caused, not just the scheme, not just the patrons who were in the hall, including all our international guests, not just the country, because don't forget, you had all these international media not speaking about the positive side of the event, but it was about this action that happened, which stalled the event for about 45 minutes. You must feel the pinch that the nation felt. You must feel the pinch that the general music industry felt. You get me? And so, yes, the award means a lot to every musician to have your biography and have it in there. So once it's out there, it's out, you cannot add it to your biography. You understand me? And so it's to send a stronger message of how the nation felt.
Let me go back to G-Man. Adam, he is a musician here in Ghana. He, way before this, had alerted or said on a sister station, Hits FM, that artists and their managers carry arms to programs. In fact, I'm sure a lot of people didn't take him serious until we saw what we saw on Saturday. At the time you were carrying the arms, why did you need them for protection? Was it with musicians and wanting to, take your own security into, your hands by carrying arms?
I think it's just totally wrong. Okay, there is something that is known as the pride of life. The Bible talks about the pride of life. You get to a point where you think that, okay, I am so powerful that I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do. And it's unfortunate if it is true that the managers are also carrying guns. Like I said, as an entertainer, why do you need guns? Okay, if you think that your security is at risk, you get the professionals, the police, to give you an escort. I've had bodyguards that were policemen. I've had army escort before in my days as a performer. I never used to carry that gun that I had. It was in my house because of armed robbers. But you see, the interesting thing is that the day after that gun went off, the very armed robbers that I was protecting myself against, I slept in the same cell with the armed robbers for 14 years. So, there.
You live in the U.S. now, and we've had examples of artists, especially those who are, in the hip-hop genre, losing their lives to gangs and all that. Do you get a sense that that is what may be creeping into the Ghanaian music space?
Definitely, definitely. You see, most people copy and copy blindly. Okay? People over here just don't have any sense of culture, belonging, and they have nothing to lose. So if somebody picks up a gun and shoots another person, it's just a daily occurrence here. Okay. But is that what our society in Ghana has come to? I was of the view that people would have learned from what happened to me back home. Unfortunately, it looks like maybe Shatta-Wale and Stonebwoy were too young. I don't know how old they are, but if you take 24 years out of their ages, I'm sure they were babies when my incident happened. But at least you learn from people's experience. You don't continue. If somebody falls in the gutter today and comes and tells you there's a gutter where you are walking, you listen to advice and you change your ways. So if they want to copy blindly, all the people they think they are copying, where are the Tupacs? Where are the notorious B.I.G. and those people who went in the gangster way? Where are they today?
There's also the aspect of their fan base and the kind of control and influence they command over these fan bases. You have spoken to the artists, tried to advise them based on your experience, but if you have to speak to the hundreds or maybe thousands of fans who have also decided that this is also their fight. I mean, you touch Shatta-Wale, you touch an SM militant, you touch Stonebwoy, you touch a member of the Beam Nation. The feud has gone beyond these two artists down to their fan bases. Some argue that they're not even fan bases at all, they're gangs. So what advice do you also have for these group of people?
Yeah, but who are they following? They are following artists. Okay, and artists are the leaders of these followers, if you like. Okay, so if the artist, I'll give you an example. For instance, when Shatta-Wale stood up, and the people stood up with him, if he had told them to sit down, everybody would have sat down. We stood before crowds, and when you shout, hey, hey, they will shout the same thing back to you. When you ask them to clap, they clap. Because once you are the leader, whatever you say, that is what the people do. But if you come and you scream and shout and say, we are going to have somebody's head, they will go for somebody's head. So I lay the blame right at the two artists. They can cause their followers to change. Because followers are following them.
Right. Let me just come back into the studio now. Ni Aite Hammond is with me. He's a board member of the VGMA. He has been with the VGMAs for the past 20 years. And if you have been following this, you know that this year is the 20th anniversary. It was supposed to be a mega celebration, but it didn't turn out to be so. Now, a lot of artists have been tweeting after the incident. Sarkodie thinks that, look, by now we should have taken the award beyond a concert, and he cites examples like with BET Awards where people are invited. I believe this is a way to say you could have controlled the kind of people who come in there, fan base, SM, Beam Nation, whatever it is. If the scheme had decided that we're not going to sell out tickets, because you can't control who is coming, all you're doing is you're selling tickets. Have you ever considered that, making this strictly by invitation so you can streamline the kind of people who come to the event?
Okay, I've been 17 years with the award.
Oh, 17 actually,
yeah,
thanks for the correction.
20,
sure.
But, you know, when he made an example of the Grammys, he could have gone further to also speak of the fact that artists don't charge to perform at the Grammys like they do here. You get me? Yes. And so, yes, we've thought about all those things, but you know, every industry has its challenges, and it's also not every. For example, I haven't been to the Grammys, so I can't really speak about the Grammys, but I've been to the Summit, the South African Music Awards. Beyond the invited guests, they also have fans. They sell tickets to fans who come to support. You know, and so your industry determines how you operate. You get me? And yes, don't forget that even the people that you're going to be inviting, if it's an invite-only activity, still have people they support and people they like and musicians they are interested in. You get me? And you can assume that nothing like that will happen. But you know, until something happens, everybody believes that thing won't happen. You understand me? And you know that the VGMA night itself is not a concert. It's an awards night. Every awards night, being a music awards night, will have performances. The concerts we did, we had in Kumasi, and we had the Experience Conference at the Independence Square. And there was nothing like this. You understand me? So there are two different things. It is not a concert. It is an awards night.
Well, come back to your press briefing yesterday. You banned these gentlemen indefinitely. You stripped them of awards they won on the night. But what about yourselves? What responsibility are you taking? What have you said? Did you admit to fault? Do you admit that you didn't do certain things right? I think people want to hear. They always say the conversation has been just around Shatta-Wale and Stonebwoy, but what about the VGMAs? What about organizers?
You know, as I said earlier, as organizers, we did everything we know best to do because we are event organizers. For example, we are not a security company.
Did you involve the police?
Yes, we had police, we had national security personnel, we had private security. In fact, this event had the largest number of security we've had at any of our events, over 80 plus security people. You understand me? And so you do everything, and they had their own briefing and all that, because you do everything that you know how best to do. And I guess you guys organize events yourself, you get me? And so you know what you put in terms of security arrangements. However, on the night of the event, we've all seen that there were lapses, and we have accepted the fact that as organizers, if there are any lapses, whether due to us personally or not, once we organize the event, we invited the people there, we invited the security team, etc. We take that blame. But you know, until something happens, you do what you know to do best. The same way, for example, before 9/11, the sanctions or the security details you have to pass through in the airport was not as stringent. But when 9/11 happened, it is not that the US or the world didn't know that there were such people there who were planning things, but they also had the security arrangements. But when this happened, they improved the security arrangement. And when that security arrangement was broken, where somebody put something in their shoe, now when you go to the airports, what do? You take off your shoes. So unless something happens, you believe that what you have is okay. And so obviously, I guess this is an experience which will lead event organizers, not just Charterhouse, to move security at events to another level.
Okay, let me take the thoughts of G-Man on this. Those who say that Charterhouse should come out with the same posture they've condemned the two artists, should come out and also admit to maybe, you know, the lapses and take responsibility for that.
Definitely. I mean, I'm surprised the gentleman in the studio is saying that this was the most secured program that they've put together security-wise. And nobody was patted, nobody was searched before they went into the auditorium, and that somebody was able to carry a gun all the way into them. And then there was somebody with a pepper spray. I mean, I think they have totally failed and putting the whole general public, you know, at risk. So Shatta-House, the event organizers should really apologize, and you know, they should really apologize, because the security lapse was just too much. I mean, if you have over 80 security men and nobody was physically patting anybody down, going to such an event, knowing the tension that was between the two of them, I mean, come on, that's unprofessional, totally unprofessional.
Jimmy, if you had the opportunity to sit with Stonebwoy and Shatta-Wale today, what would you tell them?
That's the exact thing that I was going to say. JoyNews would be able to get me his phone number. I would love to speak to him personally, because I want them to hear from me. I mean, if you guys could facilitate getting me the numbers of these two young men, I would speak to them. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? But we'd like to know what you would tell them, you know, specifically and briefly.
I will share my experience with them. Okay? I mean, I went all over the world doing what they were doing. Okay? I had everything that money could buy. I had women, I had fast cars, I had everything. But it took just 1 second of indiscretion, and I almost lost my life as well. Had it not been for the grace of God, I would not be sitting here today talking to you. So if they can lend us, look, when the two of them were arrested, where was the Shatta movement? When the two of them were arrested, where was the Big Nation, or, you know, whatever his Stonebwoy's movement was? Where were their managers? It was only the two of them that were put into the police cells. If anything had happened on that night, Stonebwoy would be the only one who would be in the condemned cells. So if they can't learn this from somebody with an insight, then I don't know what else they want to learn. It's only a fool who does not change his mind. So I would like to share my personal experience with them, and maybe we'll be able to help them with their
briefly tell us about your 14 years in prison.
I have a book coming out very soon. It's called From Fame to Shame. And that book, because to say 14 years in just a few minutes would just not make any sense. So the book is coming out. I want everybody to look out for the book, and details everything that I went through. You know, you go from fame to shame. And that's the title of the book. It should be coming out very soon. And it spells out everything.
Earlier, when you were speaking, you spoke about the pride, you know, the ego of artists, and they wanting to take things, you know, take charge of things themselves. Per your experience, how do you think they can manage that, you know, that pride when it comes? How do they control it? How do they remind themselves of who they are and why they need to, you know, stay focused and not allow pride to end up, you know, taking the quality of life they have?
One, it's the group of people that surrounds them. Okay. Unfortunately, if their managers are even carrying guns, then it tells you. I mean, I don't know how far that is true, but if them came out to say that the managers are themselves, you know, what is a manager supposed to do to an artist? Is to guide that artist. Is to protect that artist from doing the wrong things. So if you have a manager, your manager is supposed to protect you. So from what happened, if I was advising Stonebwoy and Shatta-Wale, the first people who need to fire is their managers. First people that must go is their managers, because their managers are not managing them. Then they should go with our managers. That's the first thing. If you surround yourself with foolish people, you become a fool. But if you surround yourself with people of wisdom, you become wise. The Bible says in the multitude of counseling, there is victory. So I would advise them that they seek for people with godly wisdom, not worldly wisdom. Having guns is worldly wisdom. Bible says that if the Lord does not protect, weapons cannot protect you. For who is it that saith and cometh to pass? So my advice to the two of them, which I am hoping that I get to speak to them, will be look at what went through.
All right. I'd have Nia Yite react to your earlier statement about he thinks that you totally failed. Your security was not anything that that we should be boasting of. The fact that people could carry arms. Would you like to react to that?
It's his opinion. I cannot fault him for having an opinion. But if for what I know in terms of the briefing that went on and the activities that had been planned in terms of the security activities, and I'm not saying, I did say earlier when I was speaking that yes, when there are lapses, we accept the blame because we put them there. But you would have people, and I'm sure for some of your team members who were there, they would tell you they were body scanned. You get me? The fact that people were able to, at least now we've seen that there was a gun there. But if, for example, the event had ended and this incident hadn't happened, we wouldn't have known that there was a gun there.
So is it that these people didn't go through the body scans, or because they're celebrities, they were exempted?
I cannot speak to that right now.
But it's been almost a week. Did you ask the people who were responsible?
Yes, the people who are responsible are dealing with that. And that, you know, because as I told you, we had all manner of people, including private security, the police, the national security, etc. So that is a different level being dealt with to find out what, I mean. But obviously, even without any briefing from them, we know because somebody pulled a gun that there was a breach in the security arrangements that were made. Like you were suggesting, I could not tell that maybe they might think that, okay, these are artists, let's give them preferential treatment so they didn't go through the body scan. I cannot tell. You understand?
Well, we had Kiddy in our studios, and he says they were not set. So that's what's prompting that question.
And so then that means that, as I said, when something happens at any event or any activity, it gives you an opportunity to improve on what has been done in the past. And so obviously this, as I said, it is going to change not just Charterhouse. I mean, there are so many event organizers, and we also know the kind of security that we pass through. I mean, I've been to various events, and I'm sure you've been to various events where you've never been scanned.
All right.
You get me?
Okay.
But it gives an opportunity for a new phase of security when it comes to events.
Yeah, finally, people want their money. There's a hashtag trending, return our money. They say it's not fair. They voted for people. If you're going to punish them, don't punish those who voted for them by making a decision that they were their artists or their song was the popular song of the year. Is Charterhouse considering returning these monies? And I don't know how you're going to do them.
I don't know who are being punished. You know, the scheme has terms and conditions, and the artists sign on to those terms and conditions to be part of the scheme. You get me? Now, the people who voted, including myself, voted for artists we believed that they need to be in the scheme or pick up a prize or an award or the other. You understand me? Now, when the artist brings the award into disrepute and therefore gets sanctioned, all of us who voted should be angry at the artist for letting our toil and sweat go down the drain.
Did you consider, probably in terms of ranking, giving it to the next person? Did anything like that come up during your deliberations?
I mean, in the deliberations it came up, but that was not, is not, let's say, a sports game where you've been banned because you took steroids. No. So we looked at it, but we thought that wasn't the best option to do.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Nia Hammond is on the VGMA board, and he's been with the award scheme for the past 17 years. I've still got G-Man on with us. He's joined us from the US via Skype. Your final words, sir, as we talk about the future of music and looking at music rivalry. How do you think we can use competition, you know, for something positive instead of what we saw over the weekend?
Yeah, competition is a good thing. I mean, I started off as a dancer doing dancing competitions in the days of Babylon, for those of you who are old enough. And, you know, we used to compete every year during the long back. So competition is a healthy thing. But we didn't used to go beating people up or wanting to fight. You see, all that hype about, you know, I need to insult somebody, I need to scream and shout before I can hype my... Let your talent sell you. Let your talent sell you. Look at Stevie Wonder. He's been making records for the longest. We see this time we're filling stadiums without any hype. Your talent is what will get you to the top, not how loud, how crazy you are. So let your talent sell you. That is all that I'm saying. If you believe you're talented, let your talent sell you out there.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that you could join the show. That's G-Man. He joined us live from the USA via Skype. I've had Nia Hammond in studio, board member of the VGMA. We're discussing what happened over the weekend at the VGMAs and how to move on from there. Tech Talk is next.